A rose for Emily. When Miss Emily Grierson died, our whole town went to her funeral. The men through a sort of respectful affection for a fallen monument, the woman mostly out of curiosity to see the inside of her house, which no one, save an old man-servant, a combined gardener and a cook, had seen in at least 10 years. It was a big squarish frame house that had once been white, decorated with cupolas and spires and scroll balconies in the heavily lightsome style of the 70s, set on what had once been our most select street. Alive, Miss Emily had been a tradition, a duty and a care, a sort of hereditary obligation upon the town, dating from that day in 1894 when Colonel Sartoris, the mayor, he who fathered the edict that no Negro woman should appear on the streets without an apron, remitted her taxes. The dispensation dating from the death of her father on into perpetuity. Colonel Sartoris invented an involved tale to the effect that Miss Emily's father had loaned money to the town. But the next generation with its more modern ideas became majors, and alderman, this arrangement created some little dissatisfaction. So they decided to write a formal letter asking her to call at the sheriff's office at her convenience. As there was no answer to the letter, they decided to go to her house. In the house, she explained to the men that she had no taxes in Jefferson, and that Colonel Sartoris had explained that to her. So she vanquished them, horse and foot. That was 2 years after her father's death, and a short time after her sweetheart, the one people believed would marry her, had deserted her. After her father's death, she went out very little. Emily was completely alone now, except for the Negro called Toby, who was with her all the time. One day, people from the town started to smell some strange odor close to Emily's house, so they decided to sprinkle lime in the house garden. People from the town were very angry because of the smell that surrounded the house. One day, a foreman named Homer Barron, a Yankee, a big, dark, ruddy man with big voice and eyes lighter than his face, arrived to town. People began to see him and Miss Emily on Sunday afternoon, driving in the yellow wheel buggy and the marched team of bays from the livery stable. Emily was also visited soon afterwards by her relatives. Then one day, Emily was seen at the drugstore. She asked for the most effective poison. She wanted some poison. She wanted the best poison that they had. She wanted arsenic. She asked if that was a good one. They said that it was for rats. In the meantime, people wanted Emily to get married, but then people realized that Emily was alone because Homer Byron and Emily's relative had gone. From that time on, her front door remained closed, save for a period of 6 or 7 years when she was about 40, during which she gave lessons in china painting. She fitted up a studio in one of the downstairs rooms, where the daughters and the granddaughters of Colonel Sartoris, contemporaries, were sent to her with the same regularity and in the same spirit that they were sent to church on Sundays, with a 25-cent piece for the collection plate. Then the new generation changed and they were not sent to Emily's house anymore. The front door closed upon the last one and remained closed for good. She died in one of the downstairs rooms, in a heavy walnut bed with a curtain, her great head propped on a pillow yellow and moldy with age and lack of sunlight. The Negro met the first of the ladies at the front door and let them in, with their sibilant voices and their quick, curious glances, and then he disappeared. The Negro called Toby, who had been with her for a long time, walked right through the house and out the back and was not seen again. People went into the house. In the house, there was a room above stairs which no one had seen in 40 years, and which would have to be forced. They waited until Miss Emily was decently in the ground before they opened it. But when people entered the room, they saw a man lying in the bed. It was the body of Homer Barron. Just beside him there was a second pillow with the indentation of a head.